Hi, everybody. I am here at the Black Bear Film Festival. Our opening night film was Boris Karloff, the man behind the Montster, and I am here with the co-producer. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
I did.
Yes,
Oh my
you
God,
did.
10 points for me. Ron MacCloskey. I have so many questions for Ron because I am a big Boris Karloff fan. That was our opening night film. Obviously, lots of people love Boris Karloff.
Oh no, yeah, it was sold out, and it was just great. Wonderful film.
What is a wonderful film. It's a 2021 documentary award winner. Could
Yes.
you show everybody that?
This is the Rondo Award, and if you're talking to everybody this week having to do with monsters and horror film, whatever, they are going to know about the Rondo. This is the Oscar and the Emmy and the Tony of that world, and we won it.
So, and you got it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure totally well deserved.
Thank you.
I had a chance actually to read some reviews about the film, and it was the insight into Boris Karloff's life
Right.
that you showed the dimension that he had. People don't know that he was a very legitimate actor.
Oh, sure. No, a lot of people don't realize that this man succeeded in everything. He's first started in silent film and then in sound. From there, he went to radio. Then he went to live television. He had a recording career. Amazing what he did. He was nominated for a Tony, and he won the Grammy.
Absolutely incredible. What turned you on so much about him that you wanted to be involved in a documentary about him?
Well, it first started, believe it or not, when I was 7 years old.
Oh my gosh.
7 years
No,
old.
me too. It was like
Well, I got my first monster model, Frankenstein, the kid.
Frankenstein.
And during that time, you have the magazines on the newsstands, Famous Monsters of Filmland. And then you also had the movies late at night. And between all those things, I just got caught up in it. So first, I was attracted to the film and what that represented. And then as I got older, I was attracted to the actor and what he did.
Right. I totally get that. Okay, what was it about him? When we were little kids, right, we had icons. I had two, Lassie
Okay.
and Boris Karloff. if you can believe that. And what it was about him, it was the eyes.
Right.
It was the hypnotic voice.
Yes.
Okay, and it was every nuance that was in the face. What
Right.
what turned you on so much about him?
Well, the two I had was Boris Karloff and Stan Laurel.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. They're like diametrically opposed
Right.
people.
And they're both from England. And Stan Laurel and Chaplin performed together. And here was the difference I found with Chaplin. Chaplin, as funny as he was, I think he was aware of his performance and how funny he was. Stan Laurel, you actually thought he was stupid.
Right.
And yet Stan Laurel did as much as Chaplin did, writing films, directing films, but just a funny man.
Well, but Stan Laurel, now that we're on the subject of comedy, my other favorite subject besides horror, Stan Laurel, that was his role, okay, to be the dumb guy. You know how there's in a comedy there's a straight man,
Right.
and then I did a comedy last night. You know, the lead comedian, every outfit he came out in,
Okay.
people laughed because Iacobelli visually is a
Right.
very funny person.
Right.
And we're talking about visual. I think besides the fact that Boris Karloff was such an amazing actor and such a diversified actor, it was his persona, and I think 3/4 of what horror is a persona of the
Sure.
actors.
Well, here's the great thing about Karloff, which is so unique. I don't think anyone else can claim
Please
this.
share.
Boris Karloff was the only actor to be with 3 major comedy teams. He
Okay,
was
I
in a
didn't know
film
that.
called Hard and Us with Laurel and Hardy. He was in Abbott and Costello Meet the Killer with Abbott and Costello.
And I know that one.
And he was on radio with Martin and Lewis.
Get
So
out.
he did all 3 teams. Isn't that something?
All right. So you must have unearthed all this backstory about Boris Karloff when you were researching for the film, right?
Oh, sure. No, he had such a career. It was wonderful. Again, I started a long time ago. Nowadays, thank God, you can see almost everything on television or on
Yeah,
YouTube.
you can.
It's great. All you got to do is click into it. But what we point out in this film is just how powerful he was, how adored he was. He was so well liked. And women used to comment on what beautiful eyes he had.
He did. He had like those big soulful eyes.
Yeah, he did.
The
And
kind of eyes that make a woman swoon.
Julie Harris, who is so close to him, she ended up winning the Tony for The Lark, and he was in that in The Lark in 1955.
Wonderful.
Thank God it was also broadcast on television. So
Right.
you can go to YouTube and you can see that performance, and he was just great.
I love it. How long did it take to make this documentary on him?
Well, there's a short version and a long version. The short version is I met my film partner, Thomas Hamilton, 4 years ago from London, England.
Okay.
And within 4 years, we made the film. The long version is I first picked up a camera in 1997. So that's 25 years ago. And I just was determined to make this film. I became very close with Sarah Karloff, his daughter. And I just told her the day I met her, someday I want to make a film about your dad. She smiled and said, okay, let me know when it happens. Meaning like,
right.
I don't think you're going to do it.
Right.
But it did.
Yeah, buddy, let me know when you're ready.
But she's so thrilled and so happy.
But okay, here's the story here then.
Sure.
The fact 27 years.
Yeah.
You like sat on an egg until it hatched. Why the determination? Had you done other films?
No, he was just so determined himself. And
Right.
So he was my role model. Saying
I
that
love
if you're
it.
going to do something, keep at it. Do not stop. Just keep working. And that's what he did. He was really an unknown until Frankenstein.
Right.
His whole life turned around. He was 44.
Right.
He was going from film to film. By all rights, he should have given up. He should have quit, but he didn't.
Love it.
His whole life turned around, and he never turned anything down after that.
Ron, your message for filmmakers, for actors, for anyone that's in the entertainment industry, this is a really important message. And you actually just gave me something, okay, that I will share with people. I believe you never give up. Okay, you set your eye on the prize and you keep going. And I'm sure, and I'm going to ask you this because you probably know, did he run into any pitfalls along the way in his career, things that might have stopped him?
There were several times in his career where he had hoped things would change. One was a film he made in 1925 called The Bells, and he really thought that it was such a great performance
Right.
that he would be noticed. Nothing happened.
There
He
you
was
go.
he was in a play called The Criminal Code. He actually says in talking about his life, he left his dressing room door open for all the people to pour in to say how great he was.
I totally
And
love
nothing happened.
it. That's something I would do. Where are my accolades? That's great.
But here's the nice thing. So because of The Criminal Code, when they went to do the film version, Howard Hawks, wonderful director, picked him for The Criminal Code. And that movie really then started the door opening, and eventually it led to Frankenstein.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What an incredible story. So this, for you, in many ways, was a passion project.
Oh, it was a labor of love. Absolutely.
Labor of
And
love.
I had a chance to meet so many wonderful, great people in the business
I love
that
it.
just adore him. I mean, John Landis, Guillermo del Toro, just great, great people.
I know in the film, and again, I have to catch up with the film,
Right.
there were some really incredible quotes
Yeah.
that people made about him.
Yeah.
They really sang him praises.
I think he really remembered his struggle. He remembered when things were not going well. And once he got to a place where he could perform and be the star, he wanted to treat everybody equal.
I love
He
it.
wanted to make sure everyone was appreciated for what they did.
Oh my gosh, that just about says it all. Well, Ron, what is your next project? This was huge. I mean,
Well, believe it or not, I do have another documentary in my head,
in your head. Can you?
completely opposite from Karloff.
Oh, I love that.
Jerry Lewis.
Oh my gosh, Jerry Lewis. Okay, that's another name I grew up with. I used to be glued to the television for the Jerry Lewis telethons.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it was. I didn't find him funny, but there was something that was engaging
Yeah.
about Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, he did so much in his career, and again, he not only achieved it, he exceeded it.
Right.
He starred in it. He owned it, and people just really loved him. And again, the muscular dystrophy telethon he did, great stuff, and that's what I want to do next.
And I love that you're going to do something about that, because when we talk about Jerry Lewis, we really have to talk about, he is a prime example of paying it forward.
Yes.
Those MS telethons raised a lot of money for muscular dystrophy.
Yeah.
And, for many actors, it's the magic of celebrity that allows you to raise money and really make a difference in the world.
But now here's the interesting thing that is, again, different from Karloff. He was loved and hated equally.
This is true.
People are not on the fence with Jerry Lewis. Either they loved him or they hated him.
My mother hated him. She would say to me, get that off the television, the black and white TV that we
Right.
had. Get that off the TV. He
But-
makes me sick. I don't know why.
But unfortunately, he also had a bad reputation in working with people.
Right.
And on one hand, you can say the guy was a saint, he's beautiful, I love him, and another person will say, I'll never work with that guy again.
Right.
So he had an unusual life. He's quoted by saying, I'm a complicated man.
Yeah.
And he truly was, in my opinion, a Jekyll and Hyde. He could either be the sweetest guy in the world
Or a nightmare.
or not.
Right. Well, listen,
nightmare.
that's life. We all meet people, right, that are like that. That's what makes horse races, as we say. So you said you're into horror. Do you go to the horror festivals? I have a lot of friends that go to those. That's why I'm asking.
Sure. In fact, the biggest and longest, and as far as I know, the most successful one is called Chiller Theater. That is in Parsippany, New Jersey.
And I know about, okay,
Right.
so.
It's run by Kevin Clement. And not only can you go there and see horror stars, but you can see TV stars and movie stars.
Yep.
And it's so wonderful. It's been going at least 30 years or more. One of the people that was the kingpin behind that was also John Zackerley. And he was my host to all those horror films when I was a kid.
Zackerley!
Yeah.
Oh my God! Okay, now it's like I'm loving this conversation. Yeah. He was scary.
Oh yeah.
But I was so like drawn to him as a little Zackerley.
Yeah. No, he was delightful. He lived to be in his 90s. I became friends with him. I ended up, in the course of doing things creatively about Frankenstein, I created what I call the Frankie Award. I gave the Frankie Award to Zackerley, and he just loved it. He loved it.
So do you attend like FearCon and there's so many horror festivals now. People are really into horror.
Well, I've expanded a little bit. What I did is I did an event in Lexington, Kentucky, called Wonderfest. And that's where these people, and now you have to understand the difference here, okay? When people say, oh yeah, Wonderfest, it's just people that do models. I disagree. These people are artists.
Oh my God, it's incredible art.
The detail, and these are almost like sculptures. I mean, beautiful work, and they take hours and days and weeks to perfect it, and then go to Wonderfest and display their work. It's just wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Well, yeah, I love that you're paying homage to that creative aspect of it. And let's talk about the makeup, the special effects makeup in horror films. The actor Bill Opes Jr., who's in so many horror films, I said to him, like, what's the thing that you think people react to the most? And I asked the FearCon people this. There's something about an amputated limb. And it's even better when it's ripped off and dripping, okay? Because at the end of the day, right, when we're watching a film, it's a thing that's going to be, we use words like chilling or spine tingling.
Right.
As human beings, I think the fact that when we're not perfect human beings, if we're something violent and we're missing a limb is happening on that screen, we experience what we call the fear factor.
Right. Karloff was very aware of language.
Yeah.
And he did not like the word horror. He thought that was the wrong word. He felt that his film should be called terror or even thriller. And that's what he thinks was better than the word horror. But horror actually started with Dracula and Frankenstein.
I didn't even know this.
There was no category until those films came out.
You know what? You learn something every day. Now, do you remember Thriller Theater?
Well, but his TV show, He had his own show.
Thriller.
Then he had a line of comics with Thriller. I mean, if Karloff had lived, I'm almost sure he would have had his own theme restaurant.
Wow.
And it would have been all decorated with his stuff.
That's such a great idea for a business for somebody. My God, Ron, your next project.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for being here at the Black Bear Film Festival. It's such an honor, really. We are a little town, and we are fierce.
Yes.
Is this your first time in Milford?
First time, but I'm telling you, I'm loving it. I've already talked to several people here, and I think I will be back with more projects.
Oh my gosh, I love hearing that. Ron MacCloskey, winner. Black Bear Film Festival. And can you hold that up one more time?
Sure.
I think that's great.
Looks a little bit like me.
I was going to say that.